Welcome to our program in a nutshell. I'm Bob Savakinus. Today we have two very special guests who are going to be telling us about a very interesting weekend coming up in the end of June here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We're going to have a lot of culture, a lot of history being demonstrated, displayed, and just having a good time with these two ladies telling us about all the fun activities that are going to be happening. With us is Jennifer Achman. Jennifer is a Scranton native and a graduate of the University of Scranton in English and in education. She has been studying and wearing vintage clothing from the 19th century to the early 20th century, and as we could see, today she's wearing a very unique outfit, which we'll get into that in a little bit. She serves on the board of the Luzerne County Historical Society, and she has also been planning the Lackawanna Historical Society Civil War Ball for many years, and she is also involved in the Armistice Ball in New Jersey. Also with us today is Sarah Piccini. Sarah is a graduate also of the University of Scranton with her master's degree in history. She's the assistant director of the Lackawanna Historical Society, and she's been involved doing many research projects at the Historical Society here in Lackawanna County, and she's also a member of the Council of Pennsylvania Historical Association. So welcome Jennifer and Sarah to our program today.
Thank you.
So as I was saying, we're going to have a lot of activities going on towards the end of June, and we'll get some specific dates and information. I guess the first thing we're going to start off with is that Friday night. And on that Friday night, we're going to start off with a program called Meet the Generals, the Civil War Generals. Jennifer, would you like to tell us a little bit about that? Date, time, location, everything, I guess, for our audience to start with first.
Absolutely. Meet the Generals is the signature program for the Confederation of Union Generals, of which we have several members here in the northeastern Pennsylvania area. It's Friday night, June 24th. It starts at 6 o'clock with your documentary on the generals, if you want to talk a little bit about that. And then we are going to go into the program called Meet the Generals. And this is when you get to talk to us. You get to ask the questions. This is really, it's really audience participation run. It depends on what questions the audience asks us. Now, the Confederation of Union Generals is not just military generals. We also have historic personages such as Louisa May Alcott, whom I portray, and Clara Barton, and we have doctors and we have nurses, so it's not just military generals, and they're not just there to talk to you about military battles. You can ask them questions about anything about their persona and their persona's life, either before the Civil War, during the Civil War, and after the Civil War. And we stay in first-person character. So it should be a very enjoyable time.
So that is Friday night, June 26th at the Waverly
June
Com.
24th.
June 24th, my mistake. June 24th again at the Waverly Com, and that is called Meet the Generals program, the Civil War Generals, and then we'll also be showing the documentary that I produced a few years back called The Confederation of Union Generals. Just having experienced these generals and the different personalities and everything when we were doing the documentary and just being a part of some of the activities that they do. I know through the years they've done the St. Patrick's Day Parade. They've been doing the Civil War Ball for many years. Over at Steamtown, they've done train excursions there. Up at the Stowbridge Line, they've done some train excursions as well. So they're quite an interesting group of people that get together. So Jennifer, how about a little personal story? What's it like dealing with these generals and the different personalities there?
Well, it's funny. Some of them really, really get into their persona. We've even had generals in the past, we've had people that are actually direct descendants of the people that they portray. So that's pretty amazing. They love history, they love talking to people, and to them history is not a dry thing. It's not just dates. It's, you know, personal interactions. It's the family history of these people, you know, how they influenced America. So they're a lot of fun, and I think that they make history a lot of fun.
Okay, so that is Friday night's activity, and we'll talk a little bit more about it as the program goes along. But so Friday night again, it's Meet the Generals at the Waverly Com. We'll have a chance to meet the generals and see the documentary, but we're also doing a Civil War weekend, so that's going to turn into Saturday, which will also be at the Waverly Community House on Saturday. Tell us about the Civil War Ball. I know you and John, your husband, have been coordinating this with the Lackawanna Historical Society for many years, and it's always been exactly that, a grand Civil War ball. How about a couple of ideas of what people can expect to experience?
They can expect a fun evening. I've had people in the past, ask me, do you need a costume? What if I don't know how to do the dances? It's not Dancing with the Stars. There's nobody going to be picking you apart. We have a dance mistress. It's Saturday, June 25th. Doors open at 6. Dancing begins promptly at 7. We have a dance mistress, and she is going to help you out. A lot of the dances are group dances, so if you've ever done square dancing or contra dancing, it's extremely similar. And she's going to show you how to do those dances right then and there. And you don't need a partner either. There's going to be a group of people, so, take somebody you're sitting next to and say, hey, would you like to dance? It's live music in a beautiful setting. If you want to wear a costume, absolutely. But don't let that stop you. The only thing we do ask people is that you not come in jeans. It is a special event. It's a chance to dress up. It's something you don't get to experience all the time. So make it a nice occasion. Get gussied up if you want to. For ladies, if you don't, want to wear a costume, that's perfectly fine. But we do ask some modern formal wear. Gentlemen, put on a tie. Again, this is a chance to have a night out. It's live music, fun dancing. It's a great crowd. There's going to be snacks. The crowd is always very welcoming. Again, if you're not having fun, why do it? And it isn't Dancing with the Stars. There's nobody going to be rating you. So come and have a good time and experience a different side of history.
And that's also, as when I did the documentary a few years back on the Civil War generals, I know we filmed some of the Civil War ball and everything, and it's just amazing just to be able to see the costumes, the clothing, and just the actual dance and everything. And I think you have a couple of photos with you or something. Would you like to let our viewers take a look at to see what they can experience? Again, I think that's just...
Absolutely. Oops, there we go. Yeah, absolutely. This is a few years ago. These are some of the ball photos, and you can see all the people, and they do get dressed up. It started small, and as it's grown, more and more people do come in costume, and more people get excited about it. Now, I've been doing this a very long time, but again, if you've never done it before, or you think you have two left feet, come on out anyway, because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. People here are having a wonderful time. And again, they're getting to experience history in a way that you don't normally get to experience.
So I want to purchase tickets for this event. Where do I find the information? How do I get the tickets for Friday night, for Saturday, combination, or whatever the case may be?
All of the information can be found on LackawannaHistory.org, the Lackawanna Historical Society's website, or you can call 570-344-3841, and you can purchase tickets for either Friday night or Saturday night or both and do the entire thing. And it supports a wonderful cause. It supports the Historical Society. What could be better? A fun night out Friday and Saturday, and you're supporting local history.
Okay, sounds like a lot of fun. We're going to get back to you, Jennifer, and talk a little bit more about your clothing and some of your past experiences and everything. But now I want to talk to Sarah a little bit as well, because continuing this long weekend of Friday night's activity, Saturday, Sundays, we're going to change it up a little bit. But the Lackawanna Historical Society is also doing another event that has been held for the last several years, and I think it's called the Hill House Tour Beyond the Hill or something. Sarah, tell us a little bit about what this involves.
Yeah, this is our Sunday event. It's Sunday, June 26th. We're moving forward in history a little bit after our Civil War weekend, at the beginning of the weekend. This is a continuation of what we used to do as the historic Hill House Tour. This year we're calling it Beyond the Hill. We're moving out of the residential neighborhood in Scranton's Hill section, and we'll be looking at properties downtown, properties in North Scranton, on East Mountain, and also up around Nayog Park. We usually had allowed people into private homes to kind of get a sneak peek, sort of behind closed doors of what some of the architecture looks like. This year we're looking at different kinds of spaces. We'll be in some properties that are under construction that we're excited to kind of get a preview of what will be coming in some of those spaces. We'll be looking in private gardens. We're looking in a few public spaces that may be kind of overlooked. One of the ones we're focusing on in North Scranton is the Trip House. That was built in 1771. It is Scranton's oldest residence. So they're using it as a catering venue today. You may have been in there for a party or an event. There'll be people in there kind of give you a little bit of a history of the Trip House. That's one of the properties we're featuring. We'll be looking at some hidden gems that people may not know even exist. One of the ones we're excited about is up on East Mountain. It's the Northeast Marine Corps Northeast Marine Corps Detachment. Their museum on East Mountain in the former Mattis Center. They have a really wonderful museum in their basement with dioramas featuring scenes from almost every battle the Marines have ever been in excruciating detail. They're really, really wonderful to see, and most people don't even know it exists. So we're excited to get people in there to see what's going on there.
And they have a tank, too, on display up there, because
They
I've been up
do.
at that location several times, and it's quite
do.
a unique venue that I think is a hidden gem that a lot of people don't know about, but yet it has such a rich history about what, not only the Marines, but the armed services of our area and the people that experienced and were a part of wars and battles and everything. But
Sure.
please tell us a little bit more about some of the other homes and properties that we'll be able to view and see on this date.
Sure. Two of the ones that we're bringing up are sites that are under construction. We'll be going in North Scranton again to the former site of the Scranton Lace Curtain Company. Most people have a story or a history of Scranton Lace that existed in Scranton for more than 100 years. After they closed in 2003, the property was just sort of abandoned. It's being very carefully and very lovingly preserved now by Don Rinaldi to be developed as the Laceworks Village. So it's a site that's going from an industrial site that looked like this, in an industrial scene kind of surrounded by comb dumps and a small kind of crowded neighborhood. It will be developed in the next few years into the Laceworks Village. That he's rehabbing some of the buildings, he's torn down some, restored bits, and changed things around to make an entire residential community. He's using some of the features from the old buildings. The lace loom has been preserved. One of those huge looms has been preserved. So people will get a chance if they come on the tour to get kind of a hard hat tour, basically, of what's to come at Scranton Lace. So everybody, we've been talking about it for a long time, what's going to happen there. There was concerns about the levee and flooding, so we're excited to see what's going to come back into Scranton Lace there. And then similarly, also in North Scranton is the former Perotti Cigar Company on North Main Avenue. That's also being rehabbed by John Basiliga into an apartment complex as well. These are some of his drawings that he has planned. This should be open, within the next year or two again. So people have a chance to see how that project is progressing and get an idea of what's to come. So normally we focus on private homes that are already owned. This may be a chance for people who are doing some real estate shopping of their own, kind of an on-the-market sneak peek of what's to come in Scranton. So rather than looking at the history, we're looking at what's to come in the future.
I know through the years I've seen the house tours that have been offered and everything, and then of course with the COVID situation and everything, so it looks like the Historical Society has come up with new ways to get the public out there safely in a comfortable atmosphere to tour some unique sites and everything. So I'm interested in doing that. How do I do it? Give me a little breakdown of what the day is going to look like, where I could get tickets and everything.
Sure. The tour sites will be open from 10 to 4, again on Sunday, June 26th, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can get tickets in advance. Tickets are $25 in advance or $30 the day of. Advance tickets can be purchased at the Lackawanna Historical Society and also at Duffy Accessories downtown, at Nada & Company, and at Mansour's Market. You can also purchase them online through our website, again, lackawannahistory.org. Those tickets can be purchased online in advance for $25 or the day of for $30. Day of tickets can only be purchased at the Catlin House, the Lackawanna Historical Society's headquarters. Because we are featuring 11 sites for this tour, it's kind of a longer day, so we want to make sure people have a chance to be able to see all of these sites. So we will stop day of ticket sales at 1 p.m. To make sure that people have a chance to get through, what may be a 2 or a 3 hour tour, not unlike Gilligan's Island.
That's what it sounds like.
So hopefully it'll go better than Gilligan's tour did. But we will be stopping pre-sale tickets at 1 p.m. so people can get the full range of the tour.
Okay. So can we also call the Historical Society to purchase tickets, and what's that phone number?
Yes, the phone number to call is 570-344-3841.
And since you are the assistant director there, you might even answer the phone and be able to sell us the tickets.
I may, yes, I may. I can't give you a discount though, unfortunately.
Well,
but
anyway.
we do our best.
So it sounds like another fun opportunity to see the community, to see what some of our real estate developers are potentially going to turn some older historic structures and repurpose them into new facilities that still retain some of the integrity of their historical value and nature and things like that, and still have that opportunity. So again, it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities that weekend to do all kind of fun, historical, interactive events, I think might be the way to look at it. Let's go back to you, Jennifer, for a few moments. So what you're wearing is a unique outfit. You showed us a few of the photos and everything. Tell us a little bit about your attire, your wardrobe and everything, because I know, as I did a quick read of your bio and everything, that you are involved in 19th century, early 20th century clothing and everything. What kind of motivates you? What are you wearing? Why have you this interest?
It's hard to say. When I was a teenager, I really gravitated towards Victorian clothing, and I purchased my first piece of antique clothing when I was probably about 15 or 16. And from there, it just grew. I would wear, when I was younger, I would wear a lot of antique clothing, and as I got older and I got involved in vintage dancing, I realized I can make my own clothing and make period clothing and wear that dancing, wear that to the Historical Society, wear that to different events. And I have been doing that for probably for over 20 years now. It's hard to believe. But it's a fun way to connect with history. Like I said, I've always enjoyed the clothing. This is 1860s, but my clothing now runs the gamut from 1860s through 1940s. I have originals, I have a lot of stuff that I've sewn myself, I have things I have purchased from other seamstresses, and it's just wonderful. It's fun. I have all kinds of fun accessories, furs and jewelry and hats and gloves and shoes. I always tell people I'm the Imelda Marcos of the reenacting world. I have a closet full of reproduction shoes, and there has come, in the last 20 years, there has become an industry for people that like to do this. There are places where you can buy shoes, you can buy reproduction shoes. There are people on Etsy that are selling, reproduction clothing. It's become an industry. And then some of the people that I have purchased clothing from supply for the Met Opera in New York, or they supply for movie houses, things of that nature. So it's just a lot of fun. And then sometimes you do end up doing things like one year the Smithsonian came and shot part of a documentary on Lincoln during the Civil War Ball. They came and it was a lot of fun, and we got to see ourselves on the History Channel.
So I know that you've been involved in doing dances throughout the country, throughout the world probably, for many years, doing these kind of unique dance areas, locations, things like that. So if you had to say the opportunity is out there for our residents locally to partake in something like this Civil War Ball, even though it happens, events like that, dance events happen throughout the country and everything, what are your thoughts on having it here locally when it also operates or it happens in other parts of the country as well then?
I can tell you that whenever I bring out-of-town people here for the ball, and the ball's been running for over 15 years now.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we have built it up from a one-day event to a three-day event. And what out-of-town people tell me when they come to Scranton is they're amazed at the amount of historic buildings we have and the fact that we can have these events in them. I think that's unique to Scranton from what I hear from other people, from people out of this area. They don't have that many buildings, or they don't have that many buildings that are not in private hands that they can rent out and use for events like this. So, people have even mentioned to me, why don't we do a whole dance week here? A vintage dance. I'm not quite ready to do that, maybe when I retire. But we have the properties, I think, to do that. Or we have the Trolley Museum. We have Steamtown. We have all these beautiful places that we can have events at. We have the Catlin House. We've done events at the Catlin House. We've done events at the Tripp House. And again, it just blows people from out of the area away.
So as part of that continuing, I'm going to go back again to now the Sunday events there that you were telling us a little bit about. I know the Historical Society does walking tours of downtown Scranton and everything, and again, just going through that architecture and history and everything. So on that day, people will have a chance to go out and kind of tour some of the sites and everything. But What is it like at the Historical Society when people are coming in, researching and or commenting from out of town about what a unique area we have? I mean, just your perspective on that.
We get we're in a historic house that was built in 1912. We get a lot of people who walk in, and the first time they're in the house, usually they walk in, they get as far as the vestibule, and they just kind of stop and look around like this. And they say, wow, this is so cool. And we're like, yes, it's our office. Come back and we'll show you where everything else happens. But yeah, there's a tremendous amount of really wonderful building stock left in Scranton. There are office buildings that are public spaces, that are private homes, that you don't always notice as you're walking around. We do walking tours every other Saturday in the summer. We're always telling people to look up when you're walking around. There's some great stonework, some really skilled craftsmanship that went into these structures. It's a neat opportunity to just kind of wander around the downtown and see what's there, what's left. You kind of get a clue as to what went on inside the building from the outside. Sometimes there's some fun stories that are carved in the stones of the buildings. But if you have a chance to get inside some of the spaces that you wouldn't normally be open to the public, it's an even better opportunity to get a better understanding of what's going on in Scranton and kind of where the city came from. Basically, it tells a lot about the wealth that was in this area and how it was spent in public and private spaces.
Well, it's a unique area in Scranton and northeastern Pennsylvania and all the things that we have to offer and everything. And I know, Sarah, you've been involved with the Historical Society, working there now for several years and everything. Your master's is in history and everything. What draws Sarah Pacina to history that you like it so much?
I like the stories. There's always a good story in there. Whether it's a person with a ridiculous name to find out what they did, or a weird detail in the newspaper about a small neighborhood in Scranton and the local characters who lived there around the turn of the century. There's always a good story, whether it's good or bad or a happy ending or not. There's always a neat story to be uncovered.
Again, Scranton, northeastern PA, we have such a great history and so much great interesting sites and locations and everything. Jennifer, I'm going to go back to you, talk about sites. So we have the Civil War Ball, we have the Civil War weekend and everything like that. What can someone expect as far as the amount of songs that will be played or dances that will be allowed or that will happen that evening? What does it kind of look like? Do you have to dance every song? Do you have a card that people will fill out to dance and everything? I know there's some technical things with that.
In the past, we've had ball cards, and generally what is done is what was done in the 19th century. You get your card, and traditionally the gentleman would ask the ladies, but of course it is the 21st century, so a lady may ask a gentleman for a dance. We have a number of dances on the program for the evening, and then we'll throw in some extras. We always tell people, dance what you can dance, what you want to dance. When I was young, I loved to dance all of the dances, and when my dance card was full, I was thrilled. Now I don't have to dance all of the dances as much as I used to. What we have is what's traditionally called, we'll have round dances, which are couples dances like a waltz or a polka. And then we have group dances, which again are similar to if you've ever done any kind of square dancing or contra dancing. It's a group dance that's led. And again, the preceptor is going to tell you, turn to your left, do-si-do, turn to your right, that sort of thing. So if you can walk, you can get through those group dances. The round dances, they require a little bit more skill. But again, if you can sort of glide along, you can waltz. So I always tell people, please don't let that stop you. If you think you have two left feet, come on out anyway. We had a gentleman that had a prosthetic leg that came one year. He had a marvelous time. He just loved to dance. He loved to be out there. And if you don't want to dance, you just want to dress up, you want to socialize, that's fine too. Again, it's a chance to get dressed up and do something out of the ordinary and participate in history. The Waverly Com is a beautiful location built in the 20s, and it's got a wooden floor. And again, you're getting to enjoy history while you're at this event. And that's part of it too. I mean, you could go anywhere and have a dance, but getting to have them in these historic locations adds to your evening.
Okay. So let's kind of sum up a little bit Friday night. So Friday night we'll have a chance to meet the Civil War generals in addition to yourself as Louisa Alcott.
Yes.
And just a quick summation, who is Louise Alcott for our viewers?
Louisa May Alcott is the writer of Little Women, and she was, I believe, the highest paid female writer in the 19th century.
Okay, so you'll have a chance to tell your story as to who Louise Alcott is, in addition to who Jennifer Achman is. So we'll kind of hear a little bit about both. Anyway, so the details again. Friday night, the Waverly Com, the date please, the times and everything.
Friday, June 24th, and the doors open at 5:30, I believe, 6 o'clock. The program starts, runs from 6 to 8. Documentary first, and then the Meet the Generals program afterwards. The next day, Saturday, June 25th, doors open at 6 at the Waverly Com. Dancing is from 7 to 10. Live music by Spare Parts, prompting by Susan DeGuardiola.
And tickets are available through the Lackawanna Historical Society website, call, tickets. Will tickets be available at the door?
There will be tickets available at the door too. They're $35 per person, $60 per couple.
Okay.
The Meet the Generals on Friday night is free to the public.
Okay. Well, again, this is the documentary I produced a few years ago, the Confederation of Union Generals. So we will be showing the documentary, Meeting the Generals live on Friday night. Saturday will be the Civil War Ball. And then let's turn over to Sarah and let's wrap up and tell us a little bit again about the Beyond the Hill tour again. How can we get tickets? What are the hours? And what are we going to see again?
Yep, Beyond the Hill tour, 11 sites to see. It's a lot to cram into one day. The sites will be open from 10 to 4. Day of ticket sales will close at 1 p.m. Tickets are available in advance at the Lackawanna Historical Society, at Duffy Accessories on Linden Street downtown, at Nada & Company, and at Mansour's Market. Tickets are also available on our website at lackawannahistory.org. They're $25 in advance or $30 the day of. And as I said, to get through all of those sites, we are closing day of ticket sales at 1 p.m. You can give the Catlin House a call at 570-344-3841. We'll be happy to get tickets for you or hold them for you if you're unable to make it before the tour starts. But we do hope to see you there. Hope you're able to see a sneak peek of some of these sites in Scranton.
Do you have a favorite one that you want to see particularly?
Oh, I'm looking forward to Scranton Lace. I am. Okay. I do like that. There are also a few private gardens in East Mountain that I always like to get an idea of what other people have growing and what's available in the area.
Okay. So again, ladies, it sounds like a wonderful, interesting, historical, adventurous type of weekend, interactive. Gives people a chance to get out into the community, see some things, see some Civil War generals, see a documentary, do some dancing, socialize, see some amazing buildings, locations, again, socialize, get out with your family, friends and everything. But once again, I think it just shows all the great things that we have here in northeastern Pennsylvania, what a rich history, heritage we have and everything, and what great attractions and what great people we have leading these events. So I want to thank my guests, Jennifer Achman, for all that you do for the Civil War Ball and keeping our history alive as well.
Thank you.
And Sarah Piccini, the Assistant Director at the Lackawanna Historical Society, for all the things that you do in preserving and maintaining our history through the Historical Society and wonderful programs like this. I'm Bob Savakinus. Thank you for watching our program in a nutshell. And get out there that weekend, live some history, and have some fun, and be entertained. Thank you.